This episode of An Abundance of Naught is brought to you by Amazon.com. Amazon affiliated with us. We're very happy about it. Please go to anabundanceofnaught.com, click on the Amazon banner, and do all your shopping as normal. Bookmark for ease of use. We appreciate it.
And TLDRgamer.com. When you don't have a whole lot of time to read the gaming news and just want the brief excerpts, visit TLDRgamer.com for the core info. Thank you to them for the hosting and bandwidth for our podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome in. Garrett here in Abundance of Naught. Brad, Wade, who I've just been informed are both sitting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And after 500 pre-recording attempts, we get this on the first try.
That is correct, and it is March 12th, which is what day, Wade?
Tuesday. No, wait. Hold on. Trick question.
Trick question. Well, also trick answer, because you're not Wade.
Very true.
Surprise.
Da, 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 da.
Or is he?
Or is he?
There's Inception stuff going on here.
That was a weird movie.
That's why I said it.
Holy crap, that was a weird. It was good. It was well done, but God, that was strange.
Yeah.
And that would have been a great segue if we didn't have to do weekend stuff first.
Personal shenanigans. Right from our mouths, straight into your ear holes. No?
Ooh,
Nothing?
baby.
Oh, yeah. So what's going on, Mr. Vacation?
You know, kicking it. Chilling it. I don't know, whatever kids these days say.
Those damn kids and their damn rap music.
Damn kids. Get off my lawn. Go ahead.
What?
What? Huh?
Go ahead.
Just, taking it easy.
I'll say
Wife went in for a little surgery on her mouth. Yes, mouth beautification. So I've been...
Can we trademark that phrase? Because that'd be great.
I've been picking up the slack around the house. And guys, those of our listeners that are married, please appreciate your wives, because good grief, their job is hard.
Screw that. Make them work for it. You need to be earned. You don't fight for your wife, they fight for you.
It goes both ways.
And this is why Garrett doesn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have some. Choose to keep it fresh.
So, no, that's been pretty much my weekend and week, keeping the kids busy and occupied and
being Mr. Mom.
Being Mr. Mom. We did go see a movie though, which was really good. So, but we'll get to that.
Fantastic. Wait, your weekend?
A little bit more domestic. I actually got out to this one place called Outside. Very bright, the graphics suck.
Resolution's kind of spotty.
Just like, gamma down, gamma down.
Was it in 3D?
Yeah. But, no, just really not much, except for when you have your weekends on Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday. It's very hard to find people to do things with, because, like, we're at a job. Like, oh, great.
Yeah, I experienced that at my last job, too. It was great for getting stuff done. If you had to go to DMV or a doctor's appointment, you were set because you had to worry about it. But when it comes to social interaction, you're kind of at the shallow end of the dream pool.
And then you get friends who are like, come on, dude, we're going to go out tonight.
Did you get that reference?
Shallow end of the gene pool?
Yeah.
No. Was that a movie reference?
It was. It was a Disney movie reference.
Oh, was it?
It was Lion King.
Oh.
I'm at the shallow end of the gene pool.
I missed that.
Lion King. Was it Scar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good.
Anywho, I actually got up this morning. I was like, all right, I'm going to have a productive weekend starting tomorrow. Got an email from Amazon. It was like Black and White 2, the city building god game from Peter Molyneux. I've been kind of wanting to play a city builder for a while. It's for $13.50 on Amazon. I'm like, well, there goes my weekend. Then it's like, Next week,
It's going to
Motivation
be
shattered.
productive doing nothing.
no, what's even better is like, okay, I'll do it next weekend. I get paid next weekend. Titanfall comes out today. Well, okay, screw that.
Titanfall comes out this coming week.
It's out today or
Oh,
yesterday.
today?
Yeah, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to get it until I get paid. Then it's like, all right, the weekend after that. Well, family members come in, I think. What's the weekend
That's the
after
first
that?
weekend of April, so...
Okay, so I have one productive week out of 4.
Just because a game comes out doesn't mean you have to
don't wanna
spend
do it.
all weekend playing that game.
Don't have to.
Yes, it does.
2 to 1.
You're right, it pretty much does. It's
You know,
sad,
come on,
but
let's
it's
face
true. So you were going to be productive and didn't because you started playing a city builder game.
No, because I'm going to get a city builder game later on,
Aha.
which you can expect to see on the channel.
His lack of productiveness is anticipation of a future purchase.
I'm not going to do anything today because I have to get ready to do nothing next
to
weekend.
save up my
Yes!
energy.
Yep.
To sit on my butt.
Hey, being God
And guess
takes a lot
what?
of energy.
Guess what? I am not going to finish all the nothingness today. I may have some to do tomorrow.
I plan on it. I
know.
strategically plan to have an abundance of nothingness that carries over multiple days.
I
Hence,
mean an abundance of not.
damn it. Why didn't I think of that?
Then we have to get ice for your head.
It is kind of warm in here. But it does bring me to my weekend, to which there was an abundance of not. Saturday, I attempted to record, only to play a couple hours of gaming and realize that the software wasn't enabling the microphone commentary. So that footage may go down as lost content.
We got a montage.
Actually, that's not a bad idea for it. Keep it for video clips.
I've got another hour and a half of SimCity that the microphone started to record about 10, 15 minutes in and then stopped. Unbeknownst to me, an hour and a half later, that I was talking to nothing.
You know what's funny? I actually had a similar problem with Skyblocks.
Yeah, so I don't know what the fix is with
I
that.
watched that video where the microphone stopped working. I didn't notice a difference.
Wow.
That's almost painful, but not really.
Ooh.
So that was Saturday. Sunday, there's a new housing community being built up right around the corner from us, and they have a bunch of different neighborhoods, part of the community, and different grades of houses. One of which being townhomes and all the way up to $1 million houses. So Mom and I went and took a gander with that and the GoPro, and I was testing out one of my stabilizers that was a horrific fail. But at least I know that now.
Epic fail.
Epic fail.
PVC and rubber bands and bolts.
Well, that's Mark II, and that hasn't been tested yet.
Iron Man, here we come.
That's right. I got to start somewhere, and it's PVC and nickel-plated bolts. So did that, and so that was kind of cool, though. I mean, we saw some things that we would never do if we had $1 million, and we saw things that made a lot of sense. So it was a lot of fun, and I ran into an old customer from my previous job, which was kind of interesting. But yeah. And Monday, Lincoln Park tickets went on sale for our local amphitheater, to which 2 have been purchased. What else? What else has happened? Oh, Brad told me to win at pool on Monday night, and I did, just for Brad.
Yay!
Yay.
I feel so special.
I slaughtered the guy. I mean, I wasn't shooting lights out, but he gave me enough opportunities that he just needed to be put to bed.
Did you feel bad afterwards?
No.
Okay. You didn't beat him
No.
that hard.
No.
You took his money and went home.
No, there's no money in the league. You've got 12 to 17 weeks of league play. Depending on where you finish league, you qualify for tournaments, and then how you do in the tournaments will pay out money. And if you do well enough in the 2 tournaments following your league session, you win a trip to Vegas to compete on a national level, to which there's a $25,000 first place prize, I think.
That would be cool.
So, yeah, that would be cool. But, I mean, I've been playing for, what year are we in? 2013? About 5 years now and haven't gone to Vegas yet, so...
2014.
Shut up. I'm playing for 5 years.
We don't have the DeLorean, by the way.
Are you sure?
Not that I know of.
All right. It's in the garage.
You're getting some strange readings, but it was that flux capacitor.
Yeah, it's leaky.
Additional fun fact. I don't know if I talked about this previously, but my mom got, when she got her Subaru, about a couple months ago, I had dented the front quarter panel because there's too much crap in our garage, and our garage is too small in this wimpy little apartment complex we live in. Well, Saturday, she decided to redent the fender after I paid $700 to fix it.
Ouch.
So, I felt better because it wasn't just my own stupidity. It's clearly a genetic
Shared
thing.
stupidity?
It's a shared thing. So, although I'm a little pissed off in that her repair bill was about $250 less than mine.
Well, you see, she doesn't gun it when she goes to the
It was the frequent shopper discount.
It probably was. Repeat customer. Although, my truck was there first when I totally destroyed an Acura, which was kind of hilarious.
That's another story for another night.
Yep.
Fair enough.
And this is why I'm not going to be parking that car into the garage anytime soon.
Well, not only the fact that you don't know how to drive a stick shift, so that kind of stops you right there.
And that's a good thing. At least in this particular instance.
Let's do movies.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So, top in the box office, we have the top movies that came out last weekend.
You don't say.
Yeah,
Which we
number
saw.
one is Lego.
No. Because it did not release last weekend. Why you no listen?
What?
You need to listen.
Put down the beer.
Do
Bradley.
I have to?
No, drink up.
Good.
Please. For
Carry on.
all our sakes, drink up, please.
Last weekend.
So, blah, 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 blah.
Pull a string.
I want another beer. So 300, Rise of an Empire, took first at $45 million. Mr. Peabody and Sherman took second at $32.2. Nonstop pulled in another $15.8, and the Lego pulls in an additional $10.9 million. Coming out this week, we have Need for Speed, which is a video game gone movie, probably going to be exceedingly
Video
Fast
game
and Furious.
gone movie wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like it. At only 25% critic rating. Also coming out is The Single Moms Club, which, let me just rush right out there and buy tickets for that. Zero. I don't want to say zero. There is no critic rating posted now, but this is a Tyler Perry production, so take that for what it's worth. And that's
Lost
it for
my
movies. Yeah, right?
It couldn't be worse than Justin Bieber, This Is It.
Well,
Or Believe, or whatever the heck it was.
the only way you would know if it's worse is if you actually sat through a Justin Bieber movie.
Which I did not.
So you can't really say it's worse or better because you have nothing to compare to. But
We
speaking
have
of...
a comparison, and we're going to keep it that way.
That's right. But speaking of pleasureful movie experiences,
Yes,
you have something to share with us?
I do. What
Would you
was
like to?
So, this week, with me being on vacation, I had opportunity to take the family out to see Mr. Peabody and Sherman. And I have to say, it was a really good show. We all enjoyed it very, very much. There was, I would describe it as there was a lot of intellectual humor. Puns and plays on words and, stuff you really had to concentrate to get, but that was good. I enjoyed that very much. There was definitely plenty for the kids as well if they weren't getting the, references.
The smarter humor.
The smarter humor. I'm proud to say my kids got most of it, but there were a few things I didn't hear chuckles at funny parts, but there was still plenty of other stuff going on. It was definitely a really, really good experience. Thoroughly enjoyed, definitely recommended, especially if you have kids.
You're sitting next to me like, oh, you'll learn.
Don't worry, you'll get that joke in 3 years.
Oh, you narrow-minded young fool.
So, definitely recommended. It's a good one.
So are you a fan of the old TV show?
I had seen some of them. I don't know that I would describe myself as a fan.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those things, if I saw it, I enjoyed it, but I never went looking for it.
Fair deal. I don't even know if I could say that. I mean, I think I saw so few episodes that obviously I know the two key characters, the boy and the boy and his dog, Peabody and Sherman.
No, the dog and his boy.
Shut up. But that's really the extent of it. So
yeah,
they go back between 3 different time zones?
The
time zones or eras?
Time eras.
Time periods. Yeah, the dog is a genius, and has invented the Wayback Machine, which is a time travel device. And without giving any of the plot away, they do travel, back in time several times. And through various mishaps and alterations to the timeline, create a weird set of circumstances that they then have to fix.
Uh-huh.
And I won't tell you if they do or not.
And that's kind of the old paradoxical, I don't know if paradox is the right word, but the adage of time travel and, don't change the past because it'll affect the future, or is the future a result of you already going back in time and changing the past? Who's to know?
That's deep stuff, man.
Right? I'm a thinking man sometimes.
Wade's
Wade's rolling his eyes.
Alrighty then.
On to discussionary news-ish topics. I say that.
News-ish.
Discussionary news-ish.
Yeah. Who wants to pick up the dice and roll them?
You know what? I'll do it.
Woo!
Yay! One of my favorite companies.
That's a man with no fear right there.
That's right. Just jump right in.
That's it.
We've talked about Tesla several times before.
Your favorite car company?
My favorite car company.
Not the scientist.
No, not the scientist. Although, I like him too. He was a little crazy, like me.
I'm just waiting for the two to meet. Tesla guns on a Tesla car.
There you go. So, wow. I just lost my stride.
You're welcome.
We're talking about Tesla and something going on with them?
We are. Tesla has an interesting sales model that is unlike anything else in the auto industry. Everybody else sells through dealerships. Tesla sells direct to the end consumer, straight from the factory. Apparently, this is ruffling some feathers amongst the dealer associations, and they are, how do I put it politely, getting their favorite politician on a leash to pass laws making direct car sales illegal. So the news of the week...
the proper term is lobbyist?
Oh, yeah, them.
Are we trying to be coy? Oh, sorry.
So the news of the week is New Jersey becomes the third state, joining Arizona and Texas, in which it is now illegal for an auto manufacturer to direct sell to the public.
My question is, why is this a problem? It's not like it's one of your big manufacturers like Chevy or Toyota or something like that doing it. This is a novelty car. I mean...
Okay, let me throw that back the other way. What if it was Chevy or Ford? Why is that a problem?
Again, I don't see it as one. I could see it from the dealership side in that they've already been established as dealers.
Oh, sure.
And now that's being taken away from them. But this was never given to them in the first place. So what is there to lose by Tesla doing this?
The only thing I can think is maybe they're afraid that if Tesla does it and makes it a success, that maybe some of the other manufacturers may look at going this way. Which, anybody who's bought a new car or anything similar would probably appreciate that discount of, dealer delivery fees and all the extras that get tacked on because the dealership has to pay their employees too.
It gets a cut from that.
Okay.
Sure.
I get that, and I get there's additional margins between that party being the dealership involved, but I'm just going to throw this out there for someone who used to be in the vehicle sales industry that pretty much every cent of those dealer destination and setup costs are pure profit for the dealership.
So that would reduce the cost of cars by a significant amount then.
Unless the manufacturer was going to charge some type of additional cost one way or another. That would be hard to swing, though, so I do get your point.
But if I understand what you said correctly, it's profit for the dealership. So if you're not selling through a dealership, then the manufacturer is not seeing that money anyway.
True.
So if I bought, my next insert car name here, I don't know, Explorer, direct from Ford, there is no dealer profit to even mark up the dealer delivery, whatever, for it to be discountable. That charge just would not exist.
Sure, which is why I get that if it was a major company changing their model from dealership to non would be an issue. But for a company like Tesla that sells...
Never sold through a dealer.
Never sold through a dealer. And I was going to say their sales are relatively minimal, but we see a lot of Teslas on the road out here. So I'm not sure what their figures are annually in the U.S., but I'd have to say it's a very small percentage compared to any of the other manufacturers.
Oh, absolutely. I think you guys are probably skewed with the Southern California demographic plus the fact that Tesla is based out there. I think you're going to get an abnormally high percentage rate. But total car sales as a whole, they're not that big of a market. I'm wondering if the auto industry is a little scared by this.
By the fact they're doing the direct deal, or by the fact that it's becoming illegal to do the direct deal?
No, the auto industry as a whole is pushing for the illegality to do direct dealing. Their lobbyists are behind this. They want to maintain the dealership model. My thought is, first of all, they're scared of direct sales. And secondly, if you look at the models that they've come out with for their eco-friendly, all-electric, things like the Nissan Leaf, things like the Toyota Prius, things like the Chevy Volt, they look like crap.
Yeah.
Apparently the trade-off is if you want to go electric and supposedly eco-friendly, then you have to give up all styling and all comfort, and it just looks like crap. Whereas Tesla came out and went, okay, this is going to cost you a little bit more, but you can have electric and have it look cool.
Yeah. Lincoln's coming out with a lot more standard electrics or standard hybrids that look like a car and not like a Hot Wheels toy. But, no, I totally get that aspect for sure, because the Tesla cars look nice going down the road, and you see them and you know what they are.
Absolutely.
Go
ahead, Wade.
I kind of see this as a how do I want to say this? A preactive measure. It's people. Everyone's trying to go green still, and you have people who, like you said, those cars don't look too good. So you're going to have people who are going to want to have that eco-friendly, but still be stylish. And the dealers are seeing this, and they're going, well, if they go this way, we're not going to get a cut. We're not going to get this as more and more people go down to Tesla.
So let's force Tesla to have dealers.
Exactly.
Yeah, but now my question is, who are they going to get to have dealers? Are they going to do some way to still kind of maintain their same business model, but it will be dealer-esque? Are they going to go to the groups like Ferrari and Aston Martin, the dealerships that focus on that, and have them deal? They're not going to go to a Ford or a Nissan dealer or a Toyota Lexus dealer because they're not affiliated with any of those.
But they're not affiliated with Ferrari either.
They're not, but it's more of a similar demographic, I think. Not to that extreme, but because the car is kind of novelty and kind of more selective.
Sure, but they're wanting to push into the lower demographic. They want, with each new iteration, they're wanting to push into the lower and lower demographic. They want the Tesla to be aimed at, the regular middle class.
Sure.
I don't know that it's ever going to become, your $8,000 Kia, but they want it to be in the range of the attainable range, that your average person might look at. The person that's going to look at, like a Camry or a Taurus or, somewhere of that range, that's where they want to aim it.
Sure.
So, but my other thought is kind of a slap in the face to all these other manufacturers, going back to my previous comment. Nissan came out with theirs and everybody else came out with theirs, and they look so bad. They're existing auto manufacturers. And here Tesla comes along and completely builds everything from the ground up from nothing. Well, and I look at a Tesla and go, guys, you already knew how to make a car. How come they beat you?
I mean, that's partially true. They got the original electric Tesla model stance from the Lotus. They're almost the exact same body between the Lotus Elise and the first one. But yeah, it was essentially a no-name manufacturer. Yeah, it was a no-name manufacturer who jumped into the scene and said, look at us, and oh, by the way, we're doing electric better than you and more stylish than you.
Yeah. So, my thinking is this has got to be, in some senses, a fear play from the big three, going, oh crap, these guys can actually do it.
Yeah.
They might be small now, but look how far they've come in such a short amount of time, and oh crap.
I guess there's another standpoint too, and I don't know how they've solved this, is that all your dealerships for your main manufacturers have a service center where you take your car to be serviced, and anyone with half a degree of intelligence will never go there because they know it's about 3 times more expensive than independent. But nevertheless, that's a factor. Where would you take a Tesla? Where do you take a Tesla now if you need something done to it?
An electrical engineer?
I mean, their showrooms, like you said, they're manufactured, run, and essentially owned, and they're a small showroom with a couple of cars, because I've been in 2 of the local ones.
Heck, they're in the malls, for God's sake.
They are. They're in the local shopping centers. So it's not like there's pull your car around back, we'll do this or that, So I wonder what their answer is to that, and if they can compound the two into a quote-unquote dealership.
Sure, but what are you going to fix?
Well, brakes have to go out, or the motors between it. The motor may have an issue. Any of the electronics may have something go out. I mean, nothing's ever truly maintenance-free.
No, that's true, but I think we're probably coming at this again from the traditional model of, having to get the oil changed and these frequent services, and I just don't think that that's there. If you go to Tesla's website, there are service centers across the country that you can take your Tesla to.
Okay.
There are too many to name and more opening.
Got it.
Speaks leaps and bounds of how quickly they're coming about.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how many of these are independently owned and how many are Tesla-backed.
I don't want to be quoted on this, but I don't know that Tesla has done anything franchise-related.
Yeah.
It's still...
They seem to want to keep a very tight, very tight control on it.
Until they get to a point where they're more, I'm not sure if self-sustaining is the appropriate word, but
sure,
are a sustainable company that they can start to take those steps. Maybe that's a future play.
So here's one for you to chew on. Their service plan is once a year or 12,500 miles, whichever comes first.
Okay.
That does the brake pads, the wipers, the full workup. It costs you $600 once. Right? So once a year, $600, that's your full service for the entire year. If you would like, for an extra $100, they'll send the technician to your house.
Oh, Jesus. That answers that question.
There you go. I don't even have to drive it to the service center. The guy will come to me.
Does he come out to you in a Tesla?
I would hope so.
I think Tesla makes a truck.
Because that would be cool. What do you need a truck for?
He needs to bring parts in. If he's got any brakes done.
You know how small brake parts are?
Actually, I've seen them. Yeah, they're pretty much.
Don't need a truck. Well, fair enough. So New Jersey is now one of 3 states that has not only motioned but truly outlawed the direct sale of auto from manufacturer to customer.
Wait, I got one. He needs the turbine to repower the car. No?
No.
That's darn.
No.
Anyway, I still see it as dealers could be getting in as a preventive strike.
Yep.
To seeing how do I say this?
Not be outdated.
They're seeing it as it's coming about. People are going to want to be stylish, but yet eco-green, and they're not going to get a cut out of it. And they're saying, "Hey, watch down the line." They're going to go, "Yeah, we're going to make it illegal for you to sell independently, but we'll sell your things."
Well, of course.
That's where it's going to come to.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Maybe I should call up Tesla and see if they want to set up a dealership. Anyway, that's interesting.
I guess it's my turn now, huh?
I believe it would be your balls in your court.
Well, the World of Warcraft, the declining in popularity MMO, with their new expansion pack, Warlords of Draenor, they have this week released the option for pre-purchasing the expansion, which also comes with the level 90 or level 90, thank you, boost. If you get one free if you pre-purchase it, and then I think it's $60 for every additional, or there is some limitation. I do believe there will be after your second usage, so the $60 purchase. So we have this coming in, and of course there's always been some uproar with anyone being able to skip levels or speed up the process. Is that people complain that it'll lower the quality of the player and make the game less enticing for people to pick up and play and continue playing. So what do you think you guys think about that?
I think coming at it from the different standpoint, if I was to try and get into this game now, where people have been playing for a really long time, what's the odds of me getting a fair start? I think buying some level of upgrade is a good thing. Having the option to, anyway.
I've seen a few different discussions on this. One of which was most people that play World of Warcraft have gone through the initial gameplay content so many times that if you're going to create a new character, especially one, maybe there's a new character class in the new upgrade or something like that, or you want to make a new character to coincide with this new expansion, that you don't want to go through that same initial content for the 30th time, that it would make sense to maybe do that. Or, how long would it take someone to start a new character today and reach level 90, and then is $60 worth it than spending the next 3 months building your character up to that point for $17 a month when you can have level 90 now? So there's that aspect too. The statement said it's going to make other players less experienced. So what?
Other people will not know how to play their class now. Blizzard has actually come in and said, well, there is a proving ground that you have to get at least a silver medal on their particular class role. What
does anyone else care how good or ungood another player is? I mean, you play it for you. You should be playing it to see what other players...
There are certain things within the game where it does actually rely on other people.
Well,
okay, but at the risk of showing my ignorance here, if I find a player in game who just spent $300 in upgrades and whatever, and I can just knock him over the head and steal his stuff, hey, more power to me.
I don't know if World of Warcraft has a loot system for PvP stuff.
No, you usually get some trash stuff for that from characters.
Never mind. Ignore my
comment.
Well, that is a valid point, though. If you get, you come up with someone who buys their character, essentially, and they're worthless, then, again, that's their fault, and that's their out. Now, if there's aspects of the game that require the skill of other players in order to assist you in completing, if you're an established World of Warcraft player, don't you already have those people already in your friends list or guild or whatever? So it shouldn't necessarily matter once again.
There are places where, yes, you do. I mean, it is actually end-game content, which you do rely on other people. And I do see people who are not in guilds, and Blizzard has made it possible for you to basically queue for dungeons and raids singularly.
Okay.
So if people complain now that if you're queuing for dungeons, raids singular, or as a party but you don't have a full party to do this particular event, and yet you're getting people who, they're going to use this a lot, who don't know how to play their class because they bought the boost. And that's why they're saying it's going to make it as a worse experience for not only themselves, but for other players.
I guess the counter to that is there's so many games out there, if you don't like it, feel free to play another one. So a lot of companies operate. If you don't like the way companies operate, feel free to go work for somebody else. That's the direction Blizzard's going to go, and if you don't like it, play something different.
And people will end up voting with their pockets.
Exactly.
And Blizzard will feel the pain. Or not.
Or not. It's going to depend.
Yep.
All right, then.
So there's our
2 cents.
Feelings in the matter. I've been talking briefly past couple weeks about GoPro stuff. And I know Brad had some inquiries, so I thought I would just kind of shed some light or open discussion Q&A type deal for the GoPro product and associated product lines to try to shed some more light on this for those who may be unfamiliar.
So is this an official endorsement?
It is not an official endorsement. Oh my God, that would be fantastic if it was. I would poop bricks.
No. I mean, are you officially endorsing the product? Not are they asking you to?
I am a big fan of the product. Yeah, I would definitely condone or encourage people that were interested in filming just casually that this is definitely a good, solid, not too expensive product to do that with. The nice thing is that they come with waterproof cases that obviously do have their limitations like any waterproof product does. But it allows you to go snorkeling, wakeboarding, jet skiing, snowboarding, skiing, anything that, kayaking, whatever, that you may be wary of taking any other electronic device with you. So definitely a big plus there. They do film in 1080p. The newer runs get up into 120 frames a second. The version I have is the Hero 3 Silver Edition, and it only goes up to about 30 frames a second. But in what I've recorded, I haven't seen any. I haven't been wanting more.
But it has the potential to do some really smooth frame rates.
The newer or more current versions
ones
do, yes. And they all have settings. You can always dumb it down if you're doing something more specific. Some people actually like to film in like 760 as opposed to some of the higher stuff because of the resolution and just some of the way the ratios, the aspect ratios play into it. So it's all personal preference there.
And plus, from what I've seen, there's a decent-sized community of, how do I say this, creators.
Enthusiasts?
Yeah, that's actually a very good thing. Enthusiasts who make their own third-party, equipment for this, such as a stabilizer, which Mm-hmm. Garrett, you've been working on, and
well, I've been toying around with. I mean, there's major companies like Steadicam that Brad was pointing out to me last week that they make a GoPro exclusive product, which is the Steadicam Curve, I believe. They also have the Smoothie, which can be used with smartphones and the GoPro, that kind of do the same function. It's just a little bit bigger. And then you've got you got a bunch of other companies too that make different types of mounts and stabilizers and all sorts of stuff. And with the products that GoPro has, you can pretty much attach to anything. You can get helmet mounts, you can get wrist mounts, chest mount, head mount. I mean, headband. You put it right on your, like those kind of like mining lights or those headlight
Miner lamps.
Yeah. So the GoPro right on your forehead to where you can, whatever you're looking at, it's looking at.
I guess the fascination for me, and I haven't found any real need for me to do this kind of videography, but in our discussions, I was fascinated by how versatile it was, and relatively speaking, the low cost of entry. I mean, obviously the unit itself, it's not pocket change, but we're not talking an enormous amount of money for a high-res camera.
Yeah, no, I mean, I believe
it's
the current model now...
$200.
Say that again?
I believe it's a couple $100.
Yeah, I think it's about $300, give or take, for depending on the package. So typically, right now, the current model is the Hero 3 Plus, and there's typically three sub-versions of that: the white, the silver, and the black. Black being their top of the line. It's got a little bit higher frame rate capabilities, maybe a little bit better battery life, different things like that. Silver is a good, solid, medium, middle of the road. It's what I use. And then there's the white that, you may sacrifice on your still picture quality, because the cameras do, obviously, video. They do stills. You can set it to do a still time-lapse to where it'll take a still picture every, I think it's like 1, 2, 5, 10, and 30 seconds or something along those lines. So depending on what you're trying to do, if you're doing a sunset, you can do, either one of those depending on how fast or how slow you want it to play. You can always do that with just video capture too and just speed up the footage. So it just depends on how you want to play with it and the editing software you use. The biggest catch for me when I first got it is that you don't really realize, without being an established videographer in a sense, of how much time video editing is. Mm-hmm. I mean, you think, oh yeah, I'll go out and record this and then I can share it with people. Well, you can, but
it doesn't look very good.
Yeah, to do it well, you want to have some, even just the slightest amount of editing ability, whether it's a user-friendly program or a, studio quality high-end program. Either way, you want to be able to refine it.
Because no matter what project you have, you will still have that C-roll and B-roll. The stuff that you didn't mean to record, but did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The things that happened while recording, like, I don't know, someone kicked the tripod.
Well, just even when you hit the button to record, because it's so small and inside the housing, you've got to give it a fair amount of force. That's going to cause some camera shake. And you're probably going to want to remove that from your footage because the camera's recovering after you hit the button. And same with turning it off. Or sometimes you're looking at the camera to see what the time is left on your or battery life or whatnot. You want to be able to turn that off.
No one wants to see up your nose.
That's right. But the nice thing is they do have a bunch of attachments too. You can get an LCD display for the back of it. You can get a battery expansion for it. There's, like I said, there's all sorts of different mounts and whatnot.
A streaming app for it?
You
used it at the aquarium?
Well, the GoPro has an app for your smartphone that you can control the camera using its own Wi-Fi, a unique Wi-Fi ID, and it also gives you a preview of what the phone is seeing, or what the camera is seeing. It's like a 3 or 4 second delay. But then you can kind of see what's going on. You can choose to record or stop recording from the phone, which is nice. But I have been told that does significantly reduce the battery life or charge, rather, using the app.
Not only is it recording, it's also having to send and receive messages.
That's correct.
One of the other things that fascinated me about it was how relatively inexpensive the accessories were for it.
Yeah,
I mean, you had talked about some of the stuff, and I think the like the chest strap was like $20 or $30, or
I just ordered a chest strap for it. It was about $30. I found what's called a vented helmet strap, which is just it's got a GoPro mount. Sorry for the noise. It's got a GoPro mount on it, and then 2 straps and kind of cinch ties on either side. So if you have like a skateboard helmet that has a lot of ventilation holes in it, you can weave those straps through the helmet and buckle it back onto itself. I found one of those for only a couple bucks on Amazon. But the brand new stuff off the shelves, $20, $30, $40 for some things. They have suction cup mounts, adhesive mounts, 90-degree stuff.
I'm just impressed with how much they've been able to do. Again, I haven't played with it and I don't really have a need, but I'm impressed with what they've been able to do and keep it fairly affordable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at getting...
And modular enough that you buy the base camera and then just kind of add on the pieces that do what you need.
Yes.
So you don't end up with a box full of components that you never use.
Very true. I mean, they sell a Wi-Fi remote that instead, if you don't want to use your phone app, you can use just the remote for recording, stop, start, and doing all your settings that way. I think that's $40 or $60. The LCD display, I think, is like $80 or $100. I think they have a touchscreen version now. There's a battery expansion unit that I'm looking at getting to double the battery life from about an hour to pretty close to, if not over 2, depending. So yeah, I mean, but very much so. You can get the base model. They do sell kind of pre-packages. You can go to their website and order the package as you want it for what you're going to do, whether it's surfing or kayaking or all these different things, and recommended products for that activity. It was founded by, if I'm not mistaken, a surfer, and he came up with the name GoPro because every surfer's goal is to go pro. So that's kind of its origin, and it just snowballed after that. Once you have a waterproof, compact camera that you can use for action sport stuff. I've seen them used on Mythbusters, where they put them all over a car and they want to, see what's going on. And if they do fall off, the waterproof housing is really secure for the camera. I've been taking a lot more, care or concern as far as the lens case for it, and making sure that stuff stays clean and scratch free and whatnot. But it's pretty cool. That's great for automotive stuff. Like I said, I've got the 22-minute GoPro video from a car trip going up a pretty aggressive mountain. I've got a 17-minute or 10-minute video of whale watching, to where if it gets wet, great. Who cares?
Yeah.
Wipe it off and keep going.
That's more character.
It does. I mean, you have the ability to do that. You can go snorkeling, you go scuba diving with it. That's one of the main reasons I got it is when I was in Hawaii a good 2 years ago, my cousin had one with the chest strap, and when we went snorkeling, he had it on, and I was jealous.
And so you got one.
And so I got one. And I've done very little with it, but I mean, I've recorded, some of my daughter's school functions with it because it is compact. I bought a telescoping monopod, essentially a tripod, only one pole, that goes anywhere from about 2 feet to almost 6. So that gives a lot of adjustability and mobility if need be. So it's good stuff.
Cool.
Good camera, very secure case, lots of accessories for it.
Yep.
Can take it, since it's small, can take it anywhere and use it for a lot of action, and just basically easy to use camera.
Yep.
Vacation.
It's really easy. Yeah, and it's tiny. I mean, the
Sports
camera itself is like 1.5 inches by 2 inches by maybe 3/4 of an inch deep. With the housing, it's a little bit bigger than that, but that's it. It doesn't take much. It doesn't need to take up a lot of space in a luggage if you're traveling and whatnot. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
That's all I got. GoPro.
So I'm actually going to slip a new one in here, switch it up a little bit.
Woohoo!
So this was not in the rundown, but
Okay.
I wanted to segue cleanly from your GoPro with its options. Motorola announced in October, and we have not covered it, a new mobile phone platform that they're working on, and the link will be in the show notes. Let me go ahead and bookmark this now so I don't forget to put it in there. Where they're wanting to do a completely modular cell phone.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
So you buy the empty cell phone, framework, for lack of a better word, and then you add the modules that you want to have. So perhaps, and they're trying to keep the entry price of this low. I don't think any prices have been announced yet. It's called Project Ara, A-R-A, and their concept is that you just buy one of these frames, again, inexpensively. Maybe you buy one each for the whole family, so we would buy 4 of them, my wife and I and 2 kids. Well, the kids don't need phones right now, so we wouldn't buy the cell phone module to put in it. Maybe we put some storage and make it essentially like an iPod.
Yep.
And then, as they grow up and maybe now they need a cell phone, instead of replacing this device with an entirely new one, you just buy the cell phone module and drop it in the back.
How interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of cool.
No, I think it's totally cool because, I'm seeing a lot more phone ads now that are for a very specific target audience.
Yeah.
You've had the Nokia with the 43 megapixel digital camera.
Yep.
There's one now, I forget what it is, but it's the commercial is a bunch of snowboarders, and they talk about how with as good of a camera video recording that their phone does now, that even their wipeouts look epic. Mm-hmm. So you've got that style. You've got maybe people who want more, battery life for everyday use, but maybe don't necessarily need a camera or video camera. Then maybe you have that option to do. No, this is definitely an interesting concept. I've always loved modular stuff.
It's a custom-built phone.
It is a custom-built phone. And the beauty of it is, if it works the way they're touting it, why do you need to stick with one camera? Maybe, the 5 megapixel is plenty for everyday use. And now I'm going to a sporting event where I know I want high def. So I pull out the 5 megapixel camera and drop in a 40 megapixel camera module. Okay, yeah, it's bulky and sticks out and looks ugly, but it does what I need, and when I'm done, I can pull it out.
Yeah. I have similar attachments now for current phones, but yeah, it's... Like I said, if you know you don't need that all the time, then yeah, obviously you have that option, potentially that option. We don't know what their options are going to be, but hypothetically speaking...
Well, they're saying that a module can be anything. These are some of the examples they've given. An application processor, so maybe there's a specific CPU that you want for your app. You need to do some heavy crunching of a particular type of number, so instead of using the general CPU, there's a module that drops in that makes your app quicker.
Or maybe it's something more along the lines of, if you don't want a smartphone, you can utilize this phone with just the phone function, but if you want to run apps, you've got to run the app processor unit.
A new display, so you can upgrade the display or the keyboard or an extra battery or a pulse oximeter. It doesn't even have to be a phone. Maybe you use the framework to put, a screen and a processor and a pulse ox sensor, and it's a pocket pulse ox meter.
Which is?
Yeah, for us stupid people.
It's a blood oxygen content meter.
Okay.
All right.
So when you go into the hospital, they stick that thing on your finger and it measures, the saturation of oxygen in your blood.
Yeah.
It's all done optically now with light, so, you can do it on your phone.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, and for the sake of internal upgrades to where, in 2 years, people are always looking for the next phone. What's coming out next?
Sure.
Well, maybe right now it's a X amount pixel display with a X amount pixel camera and so much, internal functionality, battery, whatever. But in 2 years, that stuff changes. Instead of buying a whole new phone, you can, like I said, pick and choose the new upgrades for it and just swap them out.
Yep.
No, that's kind of...
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
We sit here and we talk about it, we think, that seems so simple. Why has no one done it yet? What the hell?
Well, duh.
Yeah,
I think part
I
of
hate
what
ideas
we've
like
been
that.
waiting for is the miniaturization that we've finally gotten to.
Oh, okay.
Look at... Phones haven't really changed in size a whole lot over the last 5 years, 10 years?
Physically, yeah.
Physically, but look at how much more we can pack inside them now. You know, if you go back 10 years to the candy bar phone and what it could do with its, 150 pixel
Hey, I remember my Nokia 8320 that you can't destroy, and used to play Snake all the time on that thing with 2, 5, 6, and 8.
Straight.
Yep.
Heck
The
yeah,
field
man.
was awesome for Snake.
I
But
miss Snake.
if you think about it, I'm not talking about the megaphones, the phablets, but you look at maybe the iPhone 4S or the smaller Galaxies, they're not that much bigger, but they can do so much more.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's probably where we've needed it to get to, is these drop-in modules can be so small and yet do so much.
Well, and it's like, I try to tell people too that, and especially people of our generation that didn't have to be around the early computers, the mainframe computers that took up rooms.
Yes.
And when a computer
Entire
bug
buildings,
was
yes.
literally a bug in a moth that flew into the computer components,
Yes.
and that's where the term computer bug comes from. But the fact that we now hold in our hands a supercomputer by those standards.
Yes.
I mean, it's unfathomable the capabilities that we can do in our hands that people didn't dream of 20 years ago.
I remember hearing a statistic one time. I know how much you love statistics.
Statistics are great.
Yeah. And
85% of the time, everything is true 90% of the time. Something like that.
Oh, God, really?
What is that phrase?
What statistics are wrong? 50% of the statistics are wrong 25% of the time?
Something like that.
So anyway, I would have to go back and find the reference. I don't have it available for the show notes, but I remember hearing a statistic that the iPhone, one single iPhone, has the processing power of all the computers, both regular and supercomputers, that existed in the entire world from, I want to say it was like the late 50s or early 60s. So we're not heavy into the computer age, but they definitely had some serious processing machines. IBM had some really big mainframes.
Well, and you're talking globally.
Yeah, one iPhone has as much computing power as they did globally in the world back then.
Well, I mean, think back to your first family computer. I mean, I remember when 256 megabytes, or what's the processing term? Is it megabytes for processors? Megahertz processor was big.
Yes.
And a gigabyte was like, why would you ever need that?
Yes.
And now we're buying, terabytes and wondering if 3 terabytes is sufficient.
Well, and Bill Gates' famous faux pas that a computer would never need any more than 640K of memory.
Yeah,
we look back now
his vision wasn't far enough.
At the time, it made sense.
Well, of course. Yeah, no one thought about streaming movies and downloading movies and movie production on home machines. It was, no one, it was beyond comprehension.
Yeah, so, maybe it was a little short-sighted of him to even say anything, given how far they had come, but...
You just didn't have one of those ideas that went, duh.
Yeah. But... it does show how far we've come, that we're talking, 70s or 80s. 640K was more memory than they could ever imagine running out of, and now your phone has,
15 gigs, typically.
Yeah.
Plus,
but we're
plus
talking
the Samsungs have the micro SDs in them to go kick it up to whatever, so...
But that's long-term storage. We're talking RAM, 640K of RAM.
I think I've got 2 gigs of RAM
Probably
in my
2
phone.
gig, yeah. Yeah.
Which is what my Apple laptop had.
Yes.
I mean, and that was a
Now
computer.
Yes.
Now it's in a phone. Now it's in your pocket.
Yep.
Which makes you wonder, what are our phones going to be in another 10 years?
In your head? Drilled in?
I don't think so. But, here I risk making the same mistake as Gates of limiting us, Is there going to be a podcast in 20 years going, well, you should have heard what this joker said. But looking at the evolution of the phone over the last 10 years, like I had just said, it hasn't really changed much in size. We tried the flip phone, we tried the slider phone. It got a little smaller, got a little bigger, but for the most part, we've stayed fairly similarly sized. It's just gotten so much more powerful.
Well, I think the true statement here, and we got to wrap this up because we're approaching our hour, but actually we're just exceeding it. It doesn't matter. Instead of looking at the progression of phones... What?
I said roll on.
Oh, yes, exactly. Instead of looking at the progression of phones, we have to look at the progression of computers and the usage thereof. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot more people now, especially our generation, that don't own computers. They rely on their phones to do everything that they would normally use a computer for.
Yes.
With the exception of work-related stuff, obviously people are going to have work computers, but privately, from a social media standpoint, from a connectivity standpoint, people are using internet searching standpoint, shopping. You can do all that stuff from your phone now. And I think if you look at how computer usage and evolution has taken the computer from a tower and a foot-deep monitor and putting all that into the palm of your hand, will there ever be a day where people don't want to access the internet visually? Is it going to get, are we going to go into, chips in our head for making calls? Again, making the same idiotic prediction, I don't think so. I think people are going to want to have that connectivity factor and still maintain the mobility.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Maybe it'll turn more holographic, though, where it projects it up in the air instead of holding it on a screen or, Jarvis.
No, Princess Leia.
Help me
out of R2D2, that yeah.
Very well.
Help me, Obi-Wan.
Very good. Well, I think on that note...
Before that, though, I'm going to give a quick little announcement here. Blizzard has released a new map for their Heart of the Swarm. There is a game shown on their site, and at the end they say, hey, download the video and cast it yourself. So it looks from, if you want to go deeper into this, it looks like they really want to take this Heroes of the Storm, go competitive game with it as an esports, and they're maybe looking for casters.
Yeah, but if they're encouraging people to do casting, are they going to start allowing people to monetize it? Bum, bum, bum.
Not sure. They do allow people to monetize cast StarCraft.
If they don't allow it for most other Blizzard stuff. You can't monetize Hearthstone. You can't monetize Diablo 3. You can't monetize WoW, to my knowledge.
I think the people who are monetizing
exclusive
are with a group who have an exclusive rights.
Yeah,
with.
You got to be signed off. It's not a parent. It's not an umbrella.
Yeah, which if they're looking for casters, then you're going to be signed with Blizzard as a Heart of the Swarm caster.
This is true.
Heroes of the Storm caster.
Yep,
get that right. So if you're looking to become a caster, this may be your opening.
There you go.
But keep on gaming, guys.
Details in the show notes.
Yeah, we're out.
That's a wrap.
We here at Abundance of Naught do appreciate you listening in and would also appreciate you sharing us with your friends via the Stitcher Radio app and also iTunes. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and join us at Facebook. Thank you.